When markets move, Stephen E. Orr takes the chair. From the White House to Wall Street, he's spent decades at the intersection of policy, markets, and real capital. And he's seen firsthand how institutions use data behind closed doors. Now, as founder of Quasar Markets, his mission is to pull those signals into the open so everyone can see what really moves the markets. This is Stephen E. Orr, Big Beat on Wall Street. Let's filter the future live.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Good morning, Big Beat. We're here today, ready to go. We've had some data come in. We've had some earnings come in. And is the taco trade back?
Yeah, I mean, I called that yesterday, right? That was so simple. I mean, taco, right? I mean, that's what it was. And, it's interesting because I saw a lot of the Republicans screaming, "Oh, don't say taco." And the first comment out of Bloomberg's mouth was taco. First comment out of Reuters was taco. First comment out of CNBC was taco. Yeah. I mean, and I beat them all by hours, right? Because you know what's going to happen, and that's what I've been saying. If you don't, your charts aren't helping you today. They're just today they might, but yesterday your charts ain't showing you anything about the dip and the buy, and it was obvious what was happening, and you knew Trump was going to back off. Our trade with Europe, our allies around the world are very important. They're worth more than some tariffs. And I'll tell you why. The biggest news coming out, the two biggest news today is very simple. First news is Trump is going to be on a plane here in a few hours. He's going to be quiet for the next 5. All right. The second thing is NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google, all the big 7, Mag 7, all said today that they're going to stop producing chips because of, it won't even be out till Q3 because of they can't get access to it, and that's a China trade there. So we're in trouble. All the RTXs out of NVIDIA are now being slowed down and stopped producing until we have until the memory shortage gets back to par. That means Micron goes to the roof. That means AMD goes to the roof. That means NVIDIA pushes higher. I mean, you're going to be paying out the nose for chips, and that's what they were saying to us. And here we are. So yeah.
Awesome. Yep, we have a big day on tap. PCE will be coming in soon. Steve, what are you expecting to see there? Anything big? We have that at 10 a.m. this morning. We also have the personal income and outlays. So a bunch of data coming in right at the same time, right?
Well, I think it's very simple. And I think that, all the things that we're talking about, we're not making these up, right? You saw Jamie Dimon saying the exact same thing this morning or yesterday saying, yes, Mr. President, the tariffs did, the American people are paying the fees for that, right? So, you can't make this up, right? You can't say, no, the inflation is going down when it's actually going up. And we saw it going up, and I expect PCE to go up. We saw it in the December numbers. We saw it in the October numbers that just came out yesterday. It's terrible, right? Inflation is up. Oh no, the food's down. Listen, I don't know the last time the president went to the grocery store, right? He didn't go to the grocery store. I go to the grocery store.
Well, remember, McDonald's lowered their prices, so he's been living large.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And you talk about this, but Greg Abel and team at Berkshire Hathaway dumped their Kraft Heinz position, right? Inflation is killing the food industry, right? Condiments and stuff. So, yep. It just is what it is.
Yeah, and it isn't just an inflation print. It is the Fed's favorite yardstick. They all talk about it. So we'll see how that goes today. If it hits right after, this volatile week already, it is a combined October-November release. So it isn't really fresh data, as we've talked about. It's not only in the rearview mirror, it's well in the rearview mirror. But we will watch for the reaction, right? If it's benign and yields fall, risk on will widen. If the PCE is sticky and yields move up, we should see a rotation out of tech and defense into defenses, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to be careful because, quite frankly, in the tech sector, especially in the chip sector, they should go higher because they're going to say, okay, we're not going to release these chips until you pay up. And those margins are going to explode. And you're going to see massive margins on some of these chipsets. And I'm not happy about that because I'm looking to purchase a new computer. And I was looking at chips, and it's very hard to get them. It's not hard. It's not easy to find video. Now, what's interesting is you're going to pay out the nose. You're not going. We're going to have dumb terminals, right? We're going to be eventually down the road. You're just going to pay for it. I mean, I was playing with Claude last night. It's way better than ChatGPT, right?
I told you that yesterday.
Yeah. And you look at, but it's not good as Grok on making videos. So they're going to have a myriad of AIs, right? A myriad of AIs. And that's nothing. And, when you look at, I'm going to do a Google search. Well, okay, you got to do a Google search. It's one company, right? But when you try to do your work, you realize, okay, well, I'm going to replace 5 people in my company, but I got to have 20 AIs to do it, right? An agentic AI. And you saw where Satya Nadella now saying exactly what I've been saying for 3 solid months now, that your company won't have, if you're just looking at AI, you're dead in the water. If you're not playing with AI, you're already gone. And agentic AI is already dead. That's already built in. It's the workforce, right? So we know that. We already know that. What we don't know is how it's going to affect us in the future. And right now, he told you what was going to happen. So, and that's going to take more data centers, and that's what we're building, right? We're building data centers, and I think that's why these massive companies are going to eat up all the chipsets, and we're going to be sitting with dumb terminals, and we don't need much on our side. So that's it. Yep, I agree, James. That's absolutely correct. Coding developers are a thing of the past. It's how we develop those coders into our systems. Yeah, agreed.
Taking a step back to what you were saying about chips there, Steve, and a lot of people don't realize that the squeeze is on because unlike what we had in 2021 and 2022, the shortages aren't on the shelf. There are actual products. It's that they're charging up to 2 times MSRP for them if you want to get a hold of them. So I do want to point out that some folks might go, wait a second, I was just at Best Buy. I saw the cards. They're there.
Oh, yeah, they're there.
But like we said, they are charging about 2 times MSRP for them. And as Steve said, that doesn't look to end anytime soon. So we'll see what happens there. On the other side of that, Steve, Intel. So I guess you're not a fan of Intel. It's had a heck of a run here. It is down about 70 basis points here this morning. But, they have earnings after hours today. They're up 43% for the month. And over the last 12 months, up 146.26%, Steve.
I'm not making this up when I say this, Howard. The PE ratio right now on Intel is 4,581%. 4,581. That's ridiculous. I have never seen a PE ratio that high on a company that's got that much volume ever in history. That's just stupid.
Yeah, is that right? Is TradingView giving us a wrong number?
No, it is not. It is a right number. I've had it checked several times on several different things to make sure it's right. It is totally right. On my systems, on everybody's systems, it is right. In fact, TradingView is kind of behind a little bit. It's actually a little higher than that, but that's what TradingView is.
Their EPS is a penny?
That's correct. They don't make any money. That's right. That's what I'm saying to people. Why are you buying Intel? Oh, because NVIDIA put money into it? Because the United States, because of Trump? You gotta make money, folks. You don't understand. You still gotta make money, and that's what I'm saying. And I just laughing all the way to the bank. Actually,
that's an interesting one. I didn't realize they were that bad. I knew that they weren't good, but I didn't realize a penny EPS. Yeah. I'll have to look more into that because that's got to be on their investment in R&D and everything else. So maybe that's because they were averaging $5 EPS for years, pretty much. Okay, well, global risk, Europe, is leading to Europe's relief rally. What does it mean for us today, Steve? Europe's pop was directly tied to the taco trade, right? And so far, we see the stocks up about 1% here. We expecting that to be the canary in the tariff coal mine today?
Not really. I look. I said this yesterday. I've said this before. But people ask me, how do you trade this? This has been the easiest trading ever I've done in my life. It's bet against the president, right? If it says something, you just do the opposite, right? It's been easy. I'm up 22%. It's a best month of January I've ever had. I think it's the best ever hit my life too. It's just been easy, right? Every time Trump says something, just do we're going to destroy the world and we're going to take Greenland, sell the market. Oh, well, I was just kidding. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take a little land. Mark goes up, and so we're back to that, right? This is not a normal market, and understand that. If you understand that, you are crushing this market. If you're not making money in this market, then you're letting politics cloud your judgment in this situation, right? And I could care less about politics. I care more about how this affects the markets, and I understand
Absolutely.
it. We've seen it for 4 years before, right? We know exactly how it works. So just accept that, and if you accept that, then you're gonna make money. And right now, people ask me, well, what about which way the market gonna go? Well, show me Trump's tweet. I'll tell you exactly how it's gonna go. Right? Show me. The EU is already saying that there's going to be backlash because of his bullying in the EU. Okay, well, you heard that, right? This isn't over. They're not done fighting this over. We go from we're going to own Greenland and we showed a map of Greenland and Canada with a picture of the United States flag on it, and yet now we're only going to take 16 square miles. That's not winning. And guess what? Market goes right back up, jumps, and today we'll probably end up as much up as we were down over the last 2 days. That took 2 days to come back, right? Because the market is still nervous, right? But I there's nothing here that's making sense. If you're a long time institutional trader, you're hurting right now. You don't really know what to do, right? You don't know which direction to play. Trump did his board of peace yesterday. 3 people in the board of peace didn't show up. Very big pieces of that puzzle, right? Vladimir Putin didn't show up. Zelensky didn't show up until late yesterday, and the other board of peace was in Poland. So all those people that are supposed to quote friends and allies didn't even show up at all. So there's more to this than we think that there is, and I think Zelensky now just says backstop of President Trump is needed, saying that he doesn't trust the president. Right. So these are things
why can Trump stop tankers and seize oil, and Europe can't do this with Russian oil?
Right.
Well, let's get into today's earnings so far, Steve. We've had a few big companies out there. GE Aerospace, they had strong outlooks, but there wasn't moving the market in the right way. They are currently down about 3.43%. Do you have any takeaways from there? I mean, they've been a pretty well-performing stock over the last 52 weeks, up about 72%. You a fan of GE here after their earnings?
This isn't the GE that we understand, right? We just aren't. We just don't understand GE. They are a different company than they were. They're still making something in the products that we as kids we grew up with and my parents grew up with, but it's a different company. GE Healthcare, I think, is a big player that I think was a concern. GE Verona, obviously, as we know now, that's the question mark. I need to dig more into GE. I really have turned my back on GE because they just really are a terrible company, but they have changed and people do like it. I think a lot of people just bought it because it's GE and they'll come back. You got to prove that. But they've had a good run here, so I really have no comment on GE, to be honest with you.
Okay, yeah, and again, strong earnings. We also had Kinder Morgan. They had an earnings beat also. They are up about 1.12%. They launched open seasons for 2 Florida gas transmission projects and are building the $1.8 billion Trident intrastate pipeline, expected to be done in 2029. You a fan of infrastructure?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's one of the things the president said. We'll be a manufacturing country, and we'll be oil production and infrastructure part of that. Data centers, oil, hopefully refineries. That would be a smart move. I know that we saw a lot in Davos this week talking about how they're unhappy about how far we've moved away from, the greenhouse effects and things of that nature. So I know there was more to that. I really don't. Yeah, I really need to see more in the future. Not quite there yet. So yeah.
But it does make sense. Kinder Morgan would be a good play for that infrastructure to be built, especially if pipelines are the way they look to do it. They're sort of at the edge of that field for sure. Another one of my little favorite companies, the makers of Old Bay, McCormick and Spices, had their earnings. And as you've talked about, consumer staple food products, not a place to put your money right now, right? Down 6% on weak profit forecast. They had both, I believe. Well, they had a top line revenue beat, but they had a miss on EPS and talked tariffs, inflation. Cost of their packaging was mentioned as a big issue. Yeah, that just goes along with what you've been saying, right?
I think that's part of it, right? Is that sometimes people think that we just talk to talk, right? And I want people to get in the mindset of being a trader. And being in the mindset of being a trader means that you need to understand the trends before they happen. And things that you're bringing up here are very good points here, Howard, that when you look at what is it that we're looking at? Okay, if we know that these chipsets are becoming a problem, if we know that infrastructure is on the docket to be made, if we know that these things are, this is how we should be investing. Right. And then you look at your charts to go, okay, well, guess what? This is a great place to buy because I like this. Right. I think it's a great place technically. And then all of a sudden you become a little bit different. Right. You start to think a little differently. Right. As a trader. And when you start thinking as different as a trader, then all of a sudden you become a better trader because you now have created a thesis and it's more well-rounded than just, okay, is a 20-day, 50-day, 100-day moving average, and this number is crossing this line. That's great. And you need to understand that, right? Because price dictates. But it's also not the key and the answer to everything. And if you begin to understand that, that's why I have been so successful this quarter, right? Because we put these things that we talked about into place, right? One of the things that I've talked about quite a bit was Oracle. Oracle, I said, and I just talked to Caroline Woods last night. I was talking to her about Oracle, and she asked me 3 months ago, then back in December, what I thought about Oracle on Picks and Pass. And I was on the floor. And I said, no way, their technology's old. Guy behind me, oh, no, it's Oracle's guy, the chart looks good. We love charts. So stocks fall another 24%. Right now, I think Oracle has turned its tune. It's changing. It's getting back into the system, going, okay, you know what? We need to make hardware for AI. We need to think about software. We need to think about software as services. And guess what? The charts now tell you it's a little bit lower, and we see volume picking up and turning around. Guess what Oracle is doing today? It's up 3.66%. And I said that yesterday. I thought Oracle was interesting yesterday because I'm seeing the news coming out. I'm seeing the volume. That makes you a better trader. Not just one thing or the other, and not just news. I saw the other day where somebody was posting, if you get the news before anybody else, that makes you a better trader. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make you better at all. You got to have every bit of this. You got to be a much better thesis trader, and you'll do a lot better. Not because you get the news first. There are a lot of people who get the news
the first move is the wrong move after any data release or any of the other stuff. So you usually get a better entry waiting a few seconds. Steve, another one. This one I have to say I got wrong. I've been saying fade China. Don't fade Alibaba though right now because it's up about 4.5% after being up 3.87. But this does have a catalyst behind it. They are planning an IPO for their chip unit amid rising U.S.-China tensions in the semiconductors. Analysts have upgraded Alibaba to a buy with a $190 price target. So still about 13% room to the upside. The rest of the Chinese names did pull back, so I don't feel terrible there. But I did definitely say yesterday, I don't trust the Chinese names. And boom, I woke up in Alibaba there. Does that put any fear into or any trepidation into the chip trade you just talked about there, Steve? Because I mean, Alibaba is not a small, this isn't a small company to deal with. I mean, they have some wherewithal, right?
It's a good point you make. And I made it very clear that a few months ago, I moved a lot of money into international stocks. And this Sell America thing, I don't like the Sell America thing. I'm not a big fan of I understand what Europe is doing. But I made that decision months ago to move money into Europe, into small caps, which has done very well. And we did it here live on the show, right? And I moved a lot of those mutual funds into Latin America, India, and Asia, and it's been crushing it, right? That's part of why I'm doing so well as well too, because that was a narrative coming down the pipe. And isolationism only helps one country, not us. Helps other countries. So yeah, and it's working out now. You asked me yesterday about sector rotation, and I said it's not about sectors, it's about individual stocks, and it's about other countries. So we have been doing quite well. I can't argue with that, right? That's just it, right? You can't argue with winning. And two things that we've noticed in the last month is we are job losses, and that's one of the things that I think we need to look at is job losses. Our initial jobless claims hold for January decline. They inched higher by 1,000, but we're still at a sharp increase of 212,000. Continuing claims, 1.85 million in this country. I mean, that is absolutely asinine. Yet we see U.S. GDP growth has been revised up to 4.4%. So what does that mean? Are we cleaning out the people that aren't working, or is AI part of this narrative? Yes, and yes, and yes, all of it. And that's what we've been betting on, right? That's what we've been investing in. That's what we've been talking about for the last. And look, one of the things we talked about, and it's interesting is when I look at foreign countries, which country have we been talking about? And you heard from Steve Flanagan, Japan, right? Japan has been, the JGBs. You've been talking about India. We've been talking about Brazil. We've been talking about these countries, and they're the ones that are actually leading now, right? So to me, that's part of this. So now you start to see this narrative of BRICS, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China. The narrative is that the world's kind of is splitting, right? And so because of that, we need to think about how we invest. And Zelensky now says Europe remains fragmented, a kaleidoscope of small and middle powers. Is he sticking his middle finger up at Europe? I think that's probably not a good place to do it, especially in Davos. I would, this is a place where they're actually, wow, because Trump is telling Europe right now that they need to step up to them. And Zelensky's saying, well, you guys are nothing but small and middle powers. This to me tells me that there's no peace in Ukraine and Russia right now. So I would keep my eye on Russia and Ukraine.
Okay. And getting back to the jobless claims, I mean, the initial and continuing jobless claims reaffirm a low hire, low fire labor market and point to stabilization. In the marketplace, the numbers do hold, Steve, that they're not bad employment numbers right now.
For who? For who?
Something under the surface, but so far it's not coming out.
Yeah, but for who? I mean, we all know somebody who lost their job, and as I always say, a recession is when your neighbor loses his job. A depression is when you lose your job, right? Yeah.
Okay, sticking on earnings, Procter & Gamble up about 64 basis points here. Their earnings topped estimates. They did say that they had a little bit of a shrinking demand on some of their products, though. So they've completed what was expected to be their softest quarter of the fiscal year. They said on their earnings call, earnings per share were $1.88, so a little beat there, and a top line revenue came in just about where expected. Net sales rose 1% and their volume fell 1%. So again, inflation, right? They're raising prices.
Yeah, Lawrence McDonald just said BlackRock's Rick Reeder now surging in the Fed chair betting right now.
I saw that name this morning across a bunch of different places.
A few days ago, Trump having those meetings were really interesting, and I do like the fact that I like the BlackRock. And it goes with the narrative of what Steve Flanagan is saying, right? Because he is an actuarian. He's not a person who is a academic, and he's actually in the business. So I like this pick a lot better than Kevin Warsh, but Kevin Warsh also could keep a steady hand. And I don't want to see Rick being just the puppet of Trump, right? That would be very bad. We need to have a very independent Fed for sure. But many people argue that we don't even need a Fed at all. So, but yeah, this could be a good pick for the Fed. I do like this pick. Intel pumping a little bit here.
He'll taco 6 more times on that too before we get to that decision day. So I don't take much rise into any of them, or he'll just put in one of his family members. I don't know. Okay. Shares of Abbott Laboratories are down about 34 basis points here, Steve, after the medical device maker posted their fourth quarter earnings, and sales did not really have much positive. They're saying that their portfolios is down a little bit, and they said that their cancer diagnostic market is up. But they also pointed to the fact that their nutrition segment has been a consistent drag on their quarterly performance. Are you a fan of Abbott? I know your mother comes from the world of pharmacy and medical. You usually have some good insights there.
I like Abbott Labs. Abbott Labs is very, very good. I'm very, very, there's a lot of very cool pieces here, I think. And Moderna with their cancer. Look, I've said this all along, and I had a nice chat with Kathy Woods last week and I heard her speak about healthcare live in front of me. And Zelensky now says documents to end the war in Ukraine are nearly ready. Wow. That's a positive right here. If that's the case, then the stock market should we're seeing a little bit of a pump here. That could be very good here. That's very good news here, folks, if that's the case. Yeah.
I'll wait to hear from the other side of that. Putin, of course, has to be willing to say the same thing there, not to mention the leaders of Europe and the U.S. will have their things to say. You just mentioned one of our early morning pumpers here this morning, Steve. Moderna up about 16% here, extending its rally of the last few days. Moderna and Merck set a 5-year data from a phase 2B trial showed that their cancer vaccine reduced the risk of relapse or death for melanoma patients. So the shares have surged 69% this year. Are they out of the finally the COVID hangover that they got into? Moderna,
that
is an investable company now, Steve?
Yeah, when we talked about that, Howard, we talked about Moderna at length, right? That Moderna in and of itself, right, was stuck in the COVID era. And the one thing I hated about COVID more than anything, we all sick and we had to stay at home, but it also stopped a lot of these companies. They all had to stop doing what they were doing and work on vaccines. And by the way, folks, the vaccines worked and it saved all of our lives, right? Oh, no, COVID, blah. No, it did. And Moderna was part of that, right? But that also stopped Moderna from doing what they do best, and that's cancer drugs. And we're now seeing that. Now here we are. That got pushed back 5 years, 6 years now, right? And Moderna was going after cancer sales, and now we're seeing a really good positive results out of some of these drugs they're working on. And I like this a lot. Moderna was a $500 stock. I mean, if you look back in 2021, that's what I meant. They were well on their way because of they made all that money because of COVID, right? All this money what the government's going to pay for Moderna, and then of course the stock fell. I like Moderna. I think it's a very good company. Market cap of $20 billion, but they still haven't made any money, so I'm a little concerned about that, right? That's one of my biggest things that they obviously don't have PE ratio because of negative earnings. So, but my goodness, I think that Moderna's not this jump here is not it's well deserved. I do like this.
Okay, I love it. Steve, one of your favorite stocks I know, and I'm joking when I say that, GameStop had a nice little day after Mr. Cohen announced he bought 1 million shares. He bought another 500,000. So
I
he
like
has
what he's
faith.
doing. He's
He's
closing
got
down.
faith in GameStop. Do you? That's my question.
I'm going to change my tune a little bit. I like the fact that he's closing down the stores and moving into more of a social aspect of it, and GameStop becoming a place. If GameStop had an app on Xbox and PlayStation, you know what? We just had one yesterday. We just had a kid on here, a friend of mine, Adam, his son Paul, was talking about Roblox. If we had a GameStop app on all of these platforms where people could talk about the actual game and become a little bit more intuitive, and then they could buy the game, I like that.
Market is open here. Q's moving to the downside.
Yeah.
First move is to the downside in general. Advanced decline opens up positive though, 3,600. So not as much as yesterday, but a nice little start here to get us going. Tick is staying somewhat positive. Dow Jones opens up about 53 basis points here. The Qs, even with this drop on the first tick, are still up 80 basis points, and we see the S&P through the SPY as up 65 basis points. But first move on all of those to the downside. We didn't really get into the VIX there, BigBeat, but it has dropped down tremendously back at that 15.96 level. So pretty low there right now.
I'm going to buy some TQQ here, I think. I can't move fast enough, I guess.
And looking at the Mag 7, Netflix down about 1.5% here. That is the laggard on the day. We do see Meta with a nice little rebound here, up 2.72%. Apple up almost a percentage point. Google just jumped up. Nvidia moving up also. So again, we are seeing a nice little move to the upside here. Qs have bounced. Oh, never mind. Did not.
No, I haven't touched. I haven't made a move yet. I got to keep my eye here.
Rates have moved back up here on the open. They did jump back up to 4.267. So a little bit of a jump there. Gold at 48.36 and moving to the upside. So I guess even with talk of war maybe coming to an end,
okay, I'm now
moving into metal still.
Okay, I am now in Okay, I'm now in TQQQ. 50 right there, right on it. 54 even is where I'm at. I'm buying a little bit more here, I think. I think maybe the first. Yeah, here we go. Dang it. They take off on me here. Yeah, there we go. It's going now. Need our Bitcoin to push here a little bit, Howard, at some point.
Yeah, it looked good before open, but then it took a dive. It was right at its key inflection point. Everything's right at their 50-day SMAs, and it doesn't want to break through. Bitcoin's right at it, Ethereum's right at it, and Solana's right at it. All three look like they were going to break through it this morning, but all three so far rejected. On-chain metrics a little better today than yesterday. Inflow is much better than yesterday. Some spot buying. So things do look a little bit better on chain, but it's not reacting that way so far. It is doing the exact opposite. We do see the RUT small caps up another 91 basis points here today. So they are moving to the upside. That is a 52-week high, 27.23 on the RUT. So small market still going. Dow Jones up 51 basis points and moving to the upside again. Qs are the one that are struggling here a little bit. They are up 80 basis points, but that's at lows of the trading session. And the S&P bounced back up a little bit better. It is trading up 66 basis points. So the early morning run on tech reversing a little bit here, but more of a breather than a true reversal. Energy, yesterday's big winner, is down about 11 basis points. As we mentioned, XLK is up about 1 percentage point. We do see communications having a good day, up about 1.2%. And it's broad market, almost now all sectors of the S&P are to the upside.
Yeah, I'm bored here. This is not moving fast enough. Dollar yen now 158.61. Dollar is pulling back a little bit though. Oh, there you go. The kiss of death. Jim Cramer now talking about Oracle. We talked.
Having a nice day today, up 6.14%. Same thing. Rambus, which had a strong day yesterday, another strong day, gapped up again today, up about another 6%. Keep your eyes on the miners. U.S. rare earth again up 13% more here. That one just broke through key. Looks like it wants to gap up towards that 24 range there.
I'm buying some TQQ here. It's a little bit of pickup here.
You see Arista Networks, another one that's running here today, up about 12% here. Arista Networks, nice little move to the upside. Also seeing Northern Trust Company after their earnings up about 7% here. So they had a nice earnings top line revenue beat of about $2.14 billion and EPS at $2.42 a share. Both beats have them moving to the upside.
89,000 going to hold here, Howard?
Probably, I don't know. I mean, it's the support is 87, 86 in that range.
Okay.
It could hold here. It's right about lows of the day.
I mean, the Dow's up almost 1%, and you know it's more than the Nasdaq up now.
Yeah, the Nasdaq was the early morning leader. Now it's given up some of those gains. Like I said, it is the laggard right now. Western Digital getting hit pretty hard here on the cash open. There again, they were pre-market.
Yeah, I mean,
up about 2.5%, 3%. Now down 2.26%.
Yeah.
Advanced decline has moved up to 4,000. So again, while some of the mega caps are getting hit here and seeing a little bit of a pullback on the cash open from their high morning moves, not as much today. UNH, wow, 352, another move up to the upside here. So UNH,
don't tell anybody. Still pushing. Let it do its thing.
Yeah. So that looks pretty good so far. Gold moving back to the upside here. 48.44, continuing to smooth to the upside. Silver trying to break out here. 94.16, so that's moving to the upside also. Bitcoin did bounce off of that 89,000 level back at 89.5, but again, it's been a lot of chop and a lot of liquidations over the last 48 hours on both sides. It's been mixed, so it's just been very much liquidation after liquidation. They are definitely just hunting them out right now, so be careful out there.
89.5 now. Bitcoin did hold 89 there.
Delta Airlines up 2.71% here. So airlines had a strong day yesterday, showing another strong day so far today.
Another big pop here on the Qs here.
Chinese names fairly strong, as I mentioned in the pre-market. NEO up 3.43% here also. We see Mealy up about 4.5% here today, breaking back through 2150. JP Morgan finally bouncing back a little bit after a multi-week slide, up about 1.54% here today.
Nasdaq now up 1% now. It's moving up now.
Defense contractor Kratos getting hit pretty hard again today, down another 3.5%. That's a multi-day loss here for them after getting all the way up to 133, back at 116 here. Meta up 3.58%. Nice move to the upside here, trying to break out. Coming right up on 50-day SMA at 639.36. Keep an eye as it reaches that level. Any break above that, you're looking for a quick move up towards that 670. Rejection there puts you back at about 620. Oil moving to the downside here. WTI back below 60, Steve, at 59.55. Natural gas continuing to move to the upside on. You getting ready for some weather this weekend, Steve?
No. Yeah, it's going to be 85 this weekend.
Is it really going to be that warm up down there? I thought you guys were getting this cold, freezing rain stuff down.
Well, we got it last week, but I'm too far south for that nonsense. Good luck with that.
Okay, because I saw Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh yeah, that goes
areas are about to get killed.
That's above us. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of my friends are complaining about they're trying to fly today, and they're not happy today. And I was going to mention weather earlier, but I just didn't get a chance to do it. Seems like there's still some need some positivity going in this market here. We got a nice run day, nice good day up here.
ARM picking back up here. Looks like it wants to run to the upside.
Arista Networks, ANET still pushing here a little bit. I'm seeing a lot of people trying to short SNDK here.
SanDisk's had a strong run.
Yeah.
Nasdaq struggling to get any momentum going so far.
We can't seem to do it. Yeah. Maybe on the wrong side of this trade again. Maybe not. We'll see.
Google up 2% here, moving to the upside.
Yep, something just hit here.
VIX has popped back up towards 16, but not a real big move one way or the other. Names moving the most so far today: the metal company TMC up 11.38%. Arista Networks, Steve just mentioned, up 9.86%. Iridium Communications, IRDM, up 7.44%. ASTS Space Mobile up 6%. And ARM Holdings up 5.75 so far. Those are the early morning winners.
Yeah, that sell, whatever that little drop there was.
On On the laggards today, we actually didn't mention the biggest laggard has been Mobileye Global. The self-driving mobility platform is down about 5.51% here.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm scared here. I just don't. There's GM says they're going to move production of their China-built Buick SUV to a U.S. plant, according to CNBC. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Okay. And Mobileye Global, like I said, down after they lowered their 2026 revenue forecast. So that is, they lowered it below the $2 billion threshold.
I don't know anybody with a Buick. Does anybody know anybody with a Buick SUV?
Not anymore. My grandparents used to have them.
Yeah, I was gonna say my
They passed away.
dad had one.
And now I can't even. I'm trying to think if I even know where
I was a kid when I had that. Yeah, I don't even really know.
dealership is. Huh. Who knows? We'll see there. GE Aerospace continuing to get hit here, down about 4%. We talked about McCormick and Company, the spice company, down about 5.35. Huntington Bank, after their earnings, down 3.04. And one that always makes Steve happy, my favorite, Crocs, CROX, down another 2% here today. So they are getting hit kind of hard.
Who the hell?
Down 1.23% here, Steve.
Nobody wears Crocs, man.
I know you hate them.
I don't really hate them. Yeah, exactly, Ron. You've driven some fast Buicks in the 70s, but let's think about that today, right? I'm not liking this sell. I'm not liking this market here right now. This thing has started to, the weakness in it. There's some profit taking. People are, I'm not liking this at all. And it looks like the algos are taking over now. Not, this isn't real trading here. This is algos trading, picking this up. And I think you're starting to see some what I call dumb orders coming in. They are dumb orders coming in. That's institutional, meaning that not dumb money. Yeah, this is spoofing happening right here on a big level here. There's not enough volume, so what happens is institutions put down really low bids in there, and then they try to go after those bids. And then they pull those bids out and they trap them. So this is an institutional trap right here. And So if you look at it from a 10-second chart, you can see it in 10 seconds right now, or the key right now, you can see it in clear as bell there. Those orders coming in there. Those are spoofed orders. Be careful out there. It may go lower here, and I gotta be careful here because
it's about to just broke the lows of the day on the Qs there. Nasdaq at 619.43. So we are seeing definite ticks turned around to the downside slightly, with negative 131.
So I do lose sometimes, and I'm going to take this loss.
Hey. You can't go 150-0 there, big guy.
I missed 3. This is my 4th one. I'm 37-4 now, so not a bad number.
Absolutely. And we do see a slight pullback across the small caps here through the rut. Dow Jones is moving to the upside, still 90 basis points. So that seems to be where the winners are.
This one's
there. So that's what we're definitely looking at is. And as we've mentioned, NVIDIA's pulled back from its highs of the day so far. Microsoft pulling back from its highs of the day. Google pulling back. Most of these are.
This one hurt. So I took my loss here. This one's hurting.
Meta pulling back. So all the Mag 7 pulling back after hitting highs. The question is, again, it's only 9:48. This is sort of the way we've seen it. This is what we saw yesterday, right? Although yesterday tweet analysis definitely played a much bigger part into it. Although it will again today. They're coming fast and furious.
Well, no, they won't because he's gone. He's on the plane, so he won't.
Well, he might be, but Zelensky doesn't sound to be. And then that's going to elicit a response from Putin and the European leaders are all speaking at Davos, so or wherever they are today. And you still have Davos going, so
Yeah,
we got
most
Elon
definitely.
Elon speaking at Davos, so we'll see that first time ever. Session was just added for him. So I'm seeing come across Japan exports to the U.S. fall. So imports to the U.S. fell 4.1% last year, the
Shocker.
first decline in 5 years, driven mainly by tariffs on automobiles.
I mean, it's shocker. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just gonna. I can't tell what this market's too wonky. It's not enough volume to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost 89,000 handle there on. Ooh.
That is telling you that. Yep. It is moving to the downside. So again, we're what I think we're range
I want to
bound
stay
today.
long. I want to stay long TQQ. I'm okay.
I think we are range bound on crypto today, basically. I'm not expecting the bottom to fall out, but I'm also not expecting us to move up very much either.
I have not made a move yet in my position, so I'm gonna stay here.
Okay.
Yeah, the Qs are trying to push here a little bit, so we'll see.
Yep. Like I said, it seems to be a lot of range bound.
Oh, here we go. Come on, Qs.
VIX is picking up slightly, 16.15, so it was down around 15 and a half, moving back up here. So do see that happening. Gold seems to be topping off right around that 48.50 area without being able to break through so far. Same thing, silver stuck right around the 94.20 area. We do see the Qs are now only up half a basis points, but they have bounced off of the lows of the day. The rut is the winner so far still. Oh, Dow Jones winner up 90 basis points. So that is the winner so far.
Yeah.
Looking at the different sectors here, now we do have winners and losers. We see energy and utilities along with industrials down and real estate. So the defensive trades are down. What is still to the upside is technology, materials, consumer staples, communications, and financials.
Just exactly what I thought. I was right. Looks like those were spooked orders, folks. Those orders were really low, and they went to go after them. And then they pulled the orders and they bounced right back up. That's kind of what I thought was happening, and that's what happened. So, yeah.
Do you see BlackRock's Larry Fink speaking at the World Economic Forum saying that there is no AI bubble? He said there's no bubble in artificial intelligence, citing the massive investment required to develop.
He's right, and there's no bubble, and we're still going. I mean, look, were we over our skis about a month ago? Yeah, because it was this craziness. Oh, the AI, and it's true, but it's going to take a while. I mean, to build this stuff out, and they're spending as much money as they possibly can. Are you hearing an earthquake, Ron? I can look my earthquake. Not in Utah. Unless you felt a couple of them in Japan, some in Alaska, one in Russia, Yuma. No.
I'm not sure on that one. I don't see anything myself hitting anywhere, but you never know. Next Power NXT make a nice little move up about 5.34%. Do see a nice move up by LITE, also Lumenthum Holdings up about 4.26% here this morning.
Well done, Zora. Zora's been crushing it.
Absolutely.
Your house moved back and forth, Ron. As a matter of fact, I think you might have had. There was one in Evanston, Wyoming. Is that close to you, Ron? 4.7 on the Richter.
Tick is fairly muted here. Advanced decline holding up at 4,000. We do see the rut now going up as the most, up almost a full percentage point.
Share my
Dow
screen
Jones
here.
has pulled back slightly here, up 65 basis points. Q's bounced off lows of the day, but still struggling to move too far there.
Was the last earthquake right there. Oh dang! Somebody's. Yeah, if you just watch the markets, I mean, we're literally sitting on linear regression. It's all about algos. Okay, there you go, Ron. I'm not like this selling is a little bit, the algos are right on board on this sucker.
Yeah, every time we seem to get a little bit of a pump to the upside, it does seem to pull back down here. So that is what we're sort of seeing here.
That's algo trading. And you got to wonder if internationals sell America is still happening or not. It doesn't look like that's affecting this, but not too worried about anything here. We do have we have data coming out here at 10 o'clock.
We do. We have PCE ready to break here at 10 o'clock. That will move the market one way or the other for sure.
Well, if we have less inflation, then that should give us a
pump to the upside. Yes.
Yeah. And of course, we have U.S. existing home sales here coming out for December too, which we know that was really bad. Oops. I'm going to hold here, I think, Howard.
Okay. Okay, we are getting to the 10 o'clock hour here, Steve. As we look at it, tick is down about 400, advanced decline sitting right just below the 39.75 area. The S&P is up 31 basis points still, but towards the lows of the day. Qs are up about 40 basis points, and the Dow Jones up 50 basis points. Big winner still so far is the small caps through the rut. For Quasar Markets, everybody have a great trading day. We'll see you back here bright and early tomorrow morning.